Hi, it's Deb from Deb's Days. It's Tutorial Tuesday and I have another project for you. It's one you've been asking about a lot. One with a filter pocket and ties, no elastic involved. If you've been with me the last couple weeks, you know we made masks with pleats, super duper easy pleats. We made a mask with no pleats whatsoever, but still elastic on the ears. And then we made one with the super duper easy pleats with a piece of wire in the nose to make it fit better. So now today we have the filter pocket and the ties. Before I get started, I publish new content frequently, so be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And check out the blog at debsdays.com. You'll find an entire section dedicated to free sewing and crafting patterns and links to even more sewing and crafting tutorials. All right, let's get this project started. Along with your regular sewing supplies, for this project you will need one piece of fabric measuring 8 inches by 16 inches. I'm using 100% cotton. And then 2 pieces of fabric measuring 2 inches by 36 inches to make the ties. You could also use some bias tape or even a sturdy ribbon if you have it. And then you'll need some pins or some clips. I love my clover clips, so that's what I'll be using. You can find these exact measurements along with the supply list at debsdays.com. I've added a link in the description right below this video. We're going to first work with our 8-inch by 16-inch piece of fabric. Let's look at those 8-inch sides. These sides will be the opening for the filter pocket, so we need to finish them a little bit. I'm going to fold it under 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to press it. Then I'm going to fold it under one more time and press it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and flip it around to the other side, the other 8-inch end, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now, does it have to be exactly 1/4 of an inch? Nope. You can do 1/8 of an inch. You can do something in between. Now we're going to take a straight stitch right across those ends to secure that down. Start here, go all the way across, and then I'll do the same on the other side. If you notice, I went right along the edge here. Now let's take the fabric and put the right side facing up. Let's fold it in half and press it. We're going to use that middle press line in just a moment, so make sure it's a sharp press. Open it back up. Now take the bottom edge and fold it up to your pressed line. Then take your top piece of the fabric. We're not going to take it to the pressed line. We're going to go about 1 inch past the pressed line. Doesn't have to be exactly 1 inch. You can eye it. You'll notice it's overlapping, and it's supposed to be because of the whole filter pocket. And then go ahead and pin or clip that in place. Now we're going to take this to the machine and we're going to stitch a 1/4 inch seam on both sides. Make sure when you begin and you end, you do a little bit of back tacking to hold it in place. And I'll be right back. All right, I have both sides sewn. You can see we have our little pocket, our overlap pocket here. Now I need to go ahead and clip these corners. And I want to turn this right side out. You may find you need to take something to get into those corners. I'm just using my scissors, but if you have a dowel or a pencil, some other pointy object, let's go ahead and press that. Now before we do anything else, we're going to make our easy peasy pleats. So let's flip that over just a moment so our open pocket is facing up. Now we're going to fold this in half again and press it and open it back up. Now we're going to bring both the bottom and the top to meet that pressed line. It's a little hard to see with the pocket, but it's there. Press it. And then let's fold it in half and press it one more time for good measure. All right, let's go ahead and flip it over. Now you see we have these ridges here. These ridges are going to be our pleats. So let's start at the bottom. Grab one of them, kind of pull it down a little bit. Grab the next one, pull it down. Grab the top one, pull it down. Just kind of eye it to see if it's kind of lined up the same on both sides. Doesn't have to be perfect. And get that pinned or clipped. Now I want to secure those in place before I do anything else. So let's go ahead and just sew all the way around the outside, catching the pleats too. On those pleats, you'll want to go a little bit slow because you have a few layers of fabric there and it can get caught up if you go over it too fast. I'm going to go, maybe about 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch from the edge, and then I'll be back. All right, we have a mask with pleats with a filter pocket in the back. Now we need our ties. Now, if you have some bias tape, you can use the bias tape along these sides here, or if you have a sturdy ribbon, you can use a ribbon as well. But I'm using some fabric that I have. I've already cut them into 2-inch by 36-inch long pieces. Before I do anything with these pieces of fabric, I need to get the ends folded in. Going down to the short end, and I'm going to fold it in, about 1/2 of an inch, and press it. Now we're going to fold the entire strip in half lengthwise. As we do that, we're going to press it. We need that crease. So go ahead and work your way down the entire length of the fabric, folding it in half and pressing all the way down. When the entire thing has been pressed, go ahead and open it up. Now we're going to take the top half and the bottom half, and we're going to fold it to that middle press line. You can do it a couple of different ways. You can do the top and press it to that middle line all the way down. When you have all of that pressed, the top and the bottom, we're going to fold it over one more time onto itself. We're going to take this to the machine and stitch all the way around this entire piece. I'm going to start right about here. I find if I start at the corner, sometimes it gets jammed in my machine, so I'm going to move it down a little bit. You'll see this makes a nice finished tie, and it's a sturdy one too. Now we'll do the same with the other piece. All right, I have both of those ties finished. Now we need to attach them to the mask. Find the middle point of your ties. I'm just going to fold it in half and put my finger there. Now let's match that up to the side of the mask. All right, with the pleated side up, the filtered side down, place that midpoint of the tie in the middle of the mask. You can just eye it, that's all right. And then pin it or clip it in place. And we're going to go right back over our stitching that we made on the tie to stitch it onto the mask. I'm going to cut across here, up here, cut across, and back down. I'm going to do the same on the other side. All right, now you have a mask with a spot for a filter and ties instead of elastic. If you'd like to see more sewing and craft projects like this one, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And check out the blog at debsdays.com. You'll find an entire section dedicated to free sewing and crafting projects and links to even more sewing and crafting tutorials. See you next week with another project.